Foundation specialist, we can make the air you breathe in your home healthier. Call us today for a free estimate.
Candy can fix it.
Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, News 12, First at 5, continues.
First at 5, we're getting a look at where the SPLOST money in Columbia County could be going, and they're asking you to weigh in tonight.
News 12, Alyssa Lyons joins us live outside the courthouse in Appling, where county leaders are getting ready to hear from everyone. And Alyssa, what do we know about the plan so far?
Yeah. Hey, Meredith. Yeah, in the next half hour, people will be making their way through these doors for the second listening session on the SPLOST project. Now, this list is extremely lengthy. We're looking at improvements to Parks and Rec, Wi-Fi and fiber, even upgrades to this county's infrastructure. Some of those roads, looking at some of those upgrades, are North Bel Air and Horizon South Parkway. North Bel Air's project proposal would add turn lanes to Marshall Way, Pierwood, and Deerwood Lane, and a little bit of a shared use to Evans Town Center.
Columbia County citizens have pretty much made their demands clear when it comes to the level of service that they expect from their government. When people start talking about the needs of Columbia County, traffic is always a concern, roads are always a concern, infrastructure in general is a concern. When you're a growing community, you have to stay in front of your infrastructure.
Now, the listening session goes until 8 o'clock tonight, but I'll have more on the project tonight at 6 o'clock.
A lot of things, people, and money affected. Thanks so much for that update, Alyssa.
Let's have a look outside now as we...
Much more than just about 10 minutes.
Riley, thanks. We're only halfway through the year, and already a new study suggests South Carolina is seeing some of the most gun violence in the nation. The research group called Gun Violence Archive says South Carolina ranks 5th for the most mass shootings of any state this year, and they define a mass shooting as one that killed or injured more than 4 people, not including the shooter. The state has seen at least 13 mass shootings in 2022. 5 of them happened since the 1st of May. At least 7 people have died this year, 70 more injured. Unfortunately, many of the victims were either teenagers or young adults.
A series of new gun measures passed in the House this week in response to the number of mass shootings all across the country. One of those measures raises the minimum age to buy a semi-automatic rifle. You now have to be 21 years old instead of just 18. The package passed with 5 Republicans crossing the aisle to support it and 2 Democrats voting no. It still has to head to the Senate, though, where there is little sign of success. In a statement, local Congressman Rick Allen criticized the legislation, calling it radical and saying he rejects the notion that the only way to stop criminals is by making it harder for law-abiding citizens to exercise their Second Amendment rights. In Athens this week, school resource officers across Georgia were at a summit aimed at figuring out the best way to protect students in the classroom.
Here's Zach Summers with a closer look at that.
We must always be training more.
Hundreds of educators and school officers from across the state are in Athens this week, where school safety is front and center.
I do believe schools are safe. However, we can always do better.
Classes range from best restorative practices to field training. There's also an active shooter simulation.
Hey, show me your hands. Hands up. Let's go, run.
Prepares you for being in those types of situations and being able to make those decisions quickly.
The week-long summit comes more than a week after 19 students and 2 teachers were killed at an elementary school in Texas.
We use a wonderful company called Syntegix that allows us to lock down the building in just minutes.
Chief Tracy Whaley is with Douglas County Schools Police, a school district with more than 23,000 students. He believes partnerships and sharing information helps to prevent school tragedies.
We understand we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to try to make up something to make the school safe. There are tools available.
I get to be a part of something that's actually going to protect my children as well in schools.
Danielle Rosa works with the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. She's charged with creating the curriculum for SROs in the state, one that focuses heavily on intervention.
When people think sometimes of school safety, it's not just the physical safety, it's also the school environment. We don't want anything to distract or hinder from that learning environment.
A collaborative effort attendees can take back and apply at their own schools.
We can never be happy with status quo.
Governor Kemp also made an appearance at that summit Monday. He talked about efforts in the state he believes will help keep kids safe at school with a focus on training.
Lawmakers and officials on both sides of the aisle are reacting to threats made against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Georgia Senator John Ossoff had this to say. He called it despicable and expressed his support for Kavanaugh and his family. He went on to say threats against judges cannot and must not be tolerated. Today, FBI agents were seen searching a California home belonging to the suspect arrested for making the threats. 26-year-old Nicholas Roski was the primary focus of the investigation yesterday after he was found carrying a gun, knife, and zip ties near Kavanaugh's home in Maryland. Police say Roski was upset over the possibility Roe v. Wade could be overturned.
For more than 2 years, a special group of doctors at Augusta University has been working to fight COVID. They're called hospitalists, 30 physicians and 11 APPs. Those are nurses and physician assistants. They're the ones behind the scenes taking care of every COVID patient who is hospitalized but not sick enough for the ICU. They've cared for more than 3,500 patients.
We're your primary care providers when you're in the hospital, and we're the quarterback for your team when you're in the hospital.
And coming up here on News 12 at 6 o'clock, Will Rio is looking at how this group of doctors are still in the fight against COVID.
Election officials have released the number. The polls are still open. Early voting lasts until tomorrow at 5 p.m. So make sure you check out scvotes.gov for your polling site. Coming up, local students are getting a head start on exploring their career options with a trade skills program, all before they even start high school. Riley?
Well, we have our eyes on the skies where we are tracking a few of those showers out there this afternoon. Radar update and a look at that weekend forecast next.
School's out and those pools are open. Augusta Parks and Rec says these local pools and splash pads are open now. The Henry Brigham Swim Center and the Jones Pool, they're open weekdays 2 until 5. The Fleming Pool open Wednesday through Sunday 2 until 5. The splash pad on Highland Avenue open every day except Saturday from 1 until 5. Kids cost $2 to get in. Adults will pay $4. A small price to pay when you need to cool off, and that is a great place to do it, right?
Yeah, you need to make friends with somebody who has a pool if you don't live near those community pools because it is hot.
It is, and unfortunately, if you think this is hot, next week it may be unbearable for some of us. So
dangerously
hot. You give us the damage.
Yeah, absolutely. Temperatures that actually could be dangerous for some of us. So it's feeling like the mid to low 90s out there this afternoon. It's still a little bit of humidity in the air, but it could feel about 10 degrees warmer this time next week. So we'll take what we can get, but you can see on the heat index behind me that there are some hot temps forward to past the weekend. Our temperatures don't look too bad the next couple of mornings, waking up in the mid 60s right around sunrise, but those mornings next week, very summer-like, only dropping close to 70.
All right, thank you, Riley. Middle school students and rising high school freshmen are getting a head start on learning about different trades.
From hair and makeup to robotics, our Will Volk shows us how Aiken County's career and technical education program is guiding kids toward their first career.
TE is the skills that pay the bills.
These Aiken County students are starting to learn those skills before they enter high school.
That's the purpose of this program, is to expose our students here in the school district to the opportunities that they have available to them.
Rising freshman Harmony McMillan didn't want to miss this opportunity.
I just want to do this with my life. I just like doing hair and nails.
She wants to open her own salon one day and is happy the district's offering this.
I make sure I didn't miss not one day. I come early. I just feel like it's a big opportunity.
More than 200 other students feel the same way, as turnout nearly doubled from last year. Everything's free. All these students have to give is their time.
What we're doing here, they get it, and it's going to definitely be beneficial to them.
And as summer break gets started, these students are getting a head start on their career. In Warrenville, Will Volk, on your side.
When those students get to high school, they can continue getting hands-on experience. The district offers more than a dozen CTE programs to high schoolers.
It's great to expose those kids to all kinds of possibilities at that age.
Yeah, so you can connect with something that you're passionate about, something you're good at, or something that you like.
Or find something you don't like and move on to something else.
There you
There's
go.
value in all of it.
There sure is. Okay, check this out. Future chefs are getting the opportunity of a lifetime cooking with celebrity chef Deborah Van Treese. It is a workshop where a group of students in DeKalb County got to learn knife skills, butchering, and the importance of temperature when cooking.
You know, it's always been nice, you know, getting to meet new kids and then making new opportunities with the chefs.
What a fun summer camp. It runs for 2 weeks. And these kids, yeah, a lot of future chefs in that room.
Great careers there. Pedal power, a great solution to those rising gas prices. But even if you don't like to pedal, you can still ride a bike. It's all about electric bikes. Next on What the Tech.
With gas prices soaring and no end in sight, many people are looking for alternatives to get to work or school without needing to visit the gas pump quite as frequently.
That is the key, right? Lots of folks looking at electric cars, bikes, scooters. And our consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker takes an e-bike for a spin to find out if they're all they're cracked up to be.
At any bike shop, you'll find e-bikes lined up on the showroom floor. David Harden, owner of Biker's Choice, tells me they are red hot with bikers and non-bikers alike.
Up to 35% of our business go up because of e-bikes.
Some are pricey, $5,000 to $7,000, but will they save money in the long run? Now, this is a Bird e-bike. It's about $2,500, and like a lot of other electronic bicycles, you choose how hard you want to pedal or if you want to pedal at all. There's a throttle on the handlebars for no pedaling at all, or an assist function when you want to pedal just a bit when the going gets tough. Going up a hill, for example, I set the assist at 5, so the Bird bike pulls you along as you pedal.
That nice little helmets come with it.
Rocky Wonder was a little intimidated starting out on the Bird bike, but after a few minutes, she got the hang of it.
I thought it'd be a little more difficult, and actually it's just like riding a bike, except you don't have to pedal as much.
I found it makes going up hills easy, no sweat, literally. I wouldn't have to change clothes when I got to the office. A 500-watt battery is removable if you need to charge it without taking the bike inside. Top speed with no pedaling is about 20 miles an hour. So who's it for?
People who live in the city and don't have far to go to work, college kids who want to park their vehicle and ride it to class, or actually just me who don't want to pedal and work too hard.
Bird loaned me this bike, and for the last 3 weeks, I've taken it on short trips around town everywhere I would normally take my gas-guzzling pickup truck, so you will save money on gas. I will tell you, before you buy an e-bike, make sure you have a safe place to ride, like quiet streets or bicycle lane. These are so much fun. That's What the Tech of Jamie Tucker.
Hey, you cannot beat the gas savings.
Yeah, that's great, but don't miss this: $5,000 to $7,000 for one of those. That was early on in the story.
Yeah, it's going to take you a long time to get a return on that investment. Sure. Well, you can find those Bird e-bikes at Target and Best Buy. They'll run for about 50 to 60 miles before the battery needs a fresh charge.
And
that's pretty good.
Over. You start pedaling then, right?
Yep. There's been a lot of talk in Augusta Commission about how to solve the problem of affordable housing. A couple of hours away in Atlanta, they're working on a new project. The city approved about a dozen affordable housing projects during the pandemic. That's when building costs were so low and companies were, well, they were giving a set subsidy for renting. Unfortunately, those subsidies aren't enough to keep rent prices down anymore, so the city just passed a resolution to examine the amount of money going towards housing.
Not only would the rates be higher for the person that's trying to rent, there'd be less housing. We want them to redo that calculus because we can't afford to lose any affordable units here in Atlanta.
Councilman Julian Bond says new deals could take up to 6 months to finalize, but maybe something worth watching in case it works for them.
It's a challenge everywhere right now. Housing costs are high, no doubt about it, but would you pay $250,000 for a house without a kitchen? That is the case for a small house near Charleston. It may be a deal breaker for some, but the agent says their client is happy. In fact, the home buyer appears to be looking forward to designing their own kitchen. So I guess the house will eventually get one there.
Yeah, you may want to take a closer look at the corn you buy at the farmers market. Southern Georgia farmers trying to reduce the spread of a fungus on their corn stalks this month. One farmer says the fungus, called southern rust, comes from an outbreak 2 months ago. It actually survived it because the winter was warmer than usual. Fortunately, farmers are spraying their crops now with a fungicide, so it should be okay.
everything. The grower went ahead and got it sprayed, in a timely manner. So, hopefully it shouldn't continue to be a problem for him later on down the road.
We're told it shouldn't affect the sweet corn you find in your local grocery store. If anything, the southern rust outbreak could just make it difficult to find feed for cattle farmers.
And be careful driving on the back roads this evening. South Carolina DOT wrapping up this hurricane drill. It's been going on between Columbia and Charleston on I-26. They wrap that up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but you might see some crews out there picking up the cones and barrels on the side of the road. They use those to help navigate those traffic routes. Most drills in the future will be held in the Midlands and the Low Country.
Well, any plans up at Clarksville Lake the next few afternoons do look mostly dry. Can't rule out a few storms popping up later today on Saturday. Then look at that 7-day forecast for you just after the break.
So it might be time to start buying some more Powerball tickets. There was no winner last night, but the pot is now up to $229 million.
The next drawing is Saturday, so if you want to take a chance, a couple of days left to grab a ticket. So far this year, there have been 3 Powerball wins. While no one has won the jackpot, a $50,000 ticket was sold in Columbia last weekend. So maybe there's some luck here in our area.
Jackpot's growing, Riley.
Absolutely. I feel like we've had a couple lucky winners there in recent years, so best of luck to anyone playing. That is the only way you can win. You got to buy a ticket, so best of luck to you. Hey, for the rest of this evening into tonight, we do have just
some new information in a shooting involving minors on East Boundary. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office releasing the incident report telling us what happened. That story just ahead on News 12 at 6 o'clock after a short break.